Nestled among lush green hills, a charming town known for its quaint streets and historic landmarks dating back centuries. From the round tower, built in the 10th century, standing 28 metres tall, to the castle grounds, a unique living museum that preserves over 400 years of culture and heritage. This is Antrim, a town steeped in stories of the past and surrounded by breathtaking beauty. Hidden in the heart of Antrim lies an historical landmark. Join me as we journey through the cobbled streets of Pogue and explore the life of one of its most famous inhabitants, Alexander Irvine. This is a place I find to be one of the most fascinating and unique landmarks in County Antrim. You might be wondering what this place is and why it's kept locked. Pogue is a small, tucked-away courtyard with a rich history dating back to the 18th century and was originally built as a residential area with homes lined within the narrow paths. It has since been preserved and maintained, opening as a tourist attraction during the summer. Pogue has become a symbol of the town's past, reminding us of a time gone by. At first glance, it may seem small and unremarkable, but this landmark holds a wealth of stories dating back centuries. As we walk through the gates of Pogue we follow through a narrow passageway, leading us into the hidden courtyard. There, we find small, centuries-old buildings that once served as home for a tight-knit community. As we delve deeper into the history of Pogue I had the privilege of speaking with Philip Magennis, an expert in the field who would be able to share their extensive knowledge and insight into this iconic landmark.
Pogue is one of those curious wee places that you find still in some towns in Northern Ireland. Yeah, the main streets and the houses and shops and businesses of the main streets, but down the wee entries that were in between the houses or in through the houses, you had these wee communities of cottages. Many towns had them. Antrim had quite a number of them, all the way down the street. You'd Scots Entry and Pogue's Entry. And the Irvines actually started off in Scots Entry and then moved to Pogue's Entry. So it was just a wee place of community, but there was great community that existed within it. I'm just going to read you a wee extract from Alexander Irvine's most famous book, My Lady of the Chimney Corner, which was published in 1913. And it explains when they arrived. The stone cabin was thatch covered, measured about 12 by 16 feet. The space comprised 3 compartments, one a bedroom, and over the bedroom and beneath the thatch a little loft that served as a bedroom to those of climbing age. The rest of it was workshop, dining room, sitting room, parlour and general community news centre. The old folks slept in a bed, the rest of us slept on the floor beneath the thatch. Between the bedroom door and the open fireplace was the chimney corner, and near the door stood an old pine table and some dressers. They stood against the wall and were filled with crockery. We never owned a chair. There were several pine stools, a few creepies, which were small stools, and a long bench that ran along the bedroom wall from the chimney corner to the bedroom door. The mud floor never had the luxury of a covering, nor did a picture ever adorn the bare walls. When the floor needed patching, Jamie went to somebody's garden, brought a shovel full of earth, mixed it, and filled the holes. The stools and creepies were scrubbed once a week, the table once a day. So it just shows a very, very simple existence. And that was the whole family. In the Irvine's case, there were the parents, and there were 9 children over a period of time. So all crammed into that tiny space. There wasn't a lot of room, but that was what life was like back then. There was a lot of poverty, and people had to make do with what they have. And what it is now, very fortunately, with the families that lived here and the Chimney Corner book connection, the property was preserved, and since 1934 has been a little heritage centre, which has secured its survival. So it stands just as a showcase to what life was like back back then in and around the town.
And inside this cottage was the childhood home of Alexander Irvine, a renowned author and minister. From the simple furnishings of the home to the carefully preserved photographs, every item in his home serves as a testament to the Irvine family's resilience and determination. I continued to speak with Philip Magennis, who can also provide a vast knowledge of the lives of the Irvine family, as well as the remnants preserved in their home.
Alexander Irvine was an interesting character. We're now we've moved into the cottage itself. I'm sitting in the chimney corner. Alexander is a strange person. Funny, he's probably more famous in America and overseas for the work that he did than he is in Northern Ireland, because he was born here in Antrim, lived in Pogue's Entry, and from here at an early age, while he had taken jobs around the town, he sold newspapers, he did all sorts of things, worked with the fishermen, worked in the farms. He went off early in life as a young teenager to Scotland to join some of his brothers in the coal mines of Scotland. But because his mother had a bit of an education and could read, he always wanted to be better educated. So after he had been in the mines for a while, he then joined the army. And he went off in the army, and while in the army, he was able to learn to read. He got a good education. He finished up coming back to England. Did a while, I think, at Oxford University, but got himself a good education, got married, and then he set off for America. He became a pastor. He became a writer. The man's life was just an amazing jigsaw puzzle of different activities. He was a socialist, so he got involved in different labour movements in the British Army during the First World War. One of the items that I find most fascinating, we have 2 or 3 of his diaries, and one diary in particular from 1918. It's fascinating to read. The writing is not great. It's not very easy to read, but at one stage we did transcribe some bits and pieces, and I will read you his entry for Sunday the 22nd of September 1918 at Learmont and Moylan. Trip in car over Mount St Quentin to Learmont, the HQ of ATN Division. Lunch with Colonel Blewett and Major Hopwood. Went to Azincourt-le-Bas to find Colonel Cutbill. We went to Curlew Ward. Began to collect souvenirs today. Saw 2 big guns in action in Marquay. Australians have renamed streets of Perone. Combal's bombed past night. Went to Haute Alain to 103 Company. Heavy rain. No meeting. Met an officer who said I influenced him in Randallstown. Met Captain Gaze of Chicago. Talked to German prisoner about German signs. So just a day in the life at the front. He was quite a significant character, but this is where it all started, the humble surroundings of this little cottage.
Through the ruins of his childhood home and the cobbled courtyard of Pogue's Entry, we've seen glimpses of a bygone era and those who lived through it, from the struggles of the famine to the thriving community that once called this place home. As we reflect on the legacy of Alexander Irvine and the stories of Pogue's Entry, we're reminded of the power of storytelling and the importance of preserving our shared cultural heritage. These stories are not just relics of the past, but they serve as a reminder of our shared history, a monument that will last for many more generations.